If you accuse me, Creaky, anyone in a comment of listening to the mainstream media and that's what forms our opinions, you're a dumbass.
Yeah, exactly.
I do not consume mainstream media because I'm not a 55-year-old woman.
Please subscribe. TikTok is 10 times worse. Some of the stuff coming off there is putrid. I know I mentioned it briefly last week, but there's a trend on TikTok at the moment where people are using young, very attractive, very fit, athletically built girls are using a filter to make themselves appear as though they've got Down syndrome. I have never heard anything so bizarre in my life. I just can't.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
And do you know what you've got a question as well? Because apparently they've been getting thousands of sign-ups to their OnlyFans, because that's what they're doing it for, is to promote their OnlyFans. But what sort of people?
This is the type of people that exist on the internet.
Yeah.
Do you remember Danielle Bregoli? Catch me outside. How about that?
Yeah.
Right? She released her OnlyFans at midnight on her 18th birthday, right? She made, and don't quote me on this, I want to say she made at least $1 million in 24 hours.
Yeah, I saw a video breakdown of it.
I want to know who the creeps signing up for that are, because if she released that on her 18th birthday, it is undeniable that in the content she posted to be released at midnight, she is underage.
Yeah.
So they are creepy. So that's the kind of people.
Yeah. Hang on a sec, Carl. Somebody's rattling Dell's cage again. Silence while Creaky misrepresents me and Tell. But Dell, I haven't been talking about you.
Shut up, you gimp. We're trying to have fun.
What makes you think you're important enough for me to talk about you? Thank you, Icy Spin. How long until Inside Out Theory is 30? How long until Inside Out Theory is debated? I know, ask Dell. Maybe he'll sign up. He seems to believe any old crap.
Would you like to buy some magic beans, Dell?
Yeah.
Should we move on to the last one?
Yeah, go on then.
So this will be a fun one now. Flat Earthers, I have just one question, and I feel like we have an honorary dunce in the chat that might be able to answer this for us. Why?
Why what?
Just why?
Yeah, I ask myself that question
do I need
every
to say
single
more?
day I sit down to make a video.
I want to read my note out verbatim here because I wrote, why? Flat Earthers confuse me more than anything, because at least with almost every other conspiracy theory, you can apply a loose logic or rationale to it. But with Flat Earth, the second you answer or ask any question, everything falls apart immediately. We'll go back to the moon landing for reference.
Mm-hmm.
The footage looks edited. Okay, you can answer that, but that might lead to more questions and more questions and more questions, which can all be answered. But with Flat Earth, really, once you answer one, you answer them all.
Yeah, exactly. It's literally like a house of cards.
Yeah.
Every single piece has to be carefully engineered to fit the Flat Earth narrative, because if one is wrong, it by extension, they all are.
Yeah. And I think, like we've said before, and you've definitely said, I think that's where space is fake as a conspiracy came from.
Yeah.
Because then it's the perfect get out of jail free card. You can say anything you want then. They just baffle me as people.
Yeah, you're telling me they baffle me as well.
Yeah, I cannot fathom the delusion, and I know we didn't categorize this as willful ignorance before, but it is. You have to want to be ignorant on so many levels.
Of course you do.
And you have to not believe so many significant historical... Where do you think what planet do you think we live on?
The thing is if they say space is fake as well, which some of them do, VC specifically, they haven't got to explain it then, have they?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
So it takes away the need for them to be able to explain why every other object in the universe is shaped like a sphere and only Earth was picked to be flat.
Yeah.
Do they really think we're that special? We are here by blind luck.
Again, I think a lot of it comes back to coping.
Yeah.
It's just coping and wanting to know secret answers to, the mainstream won't tell you this.
Yeah, exactly.
Shut up. You sound like a tool bag.
Exactly. They're just trying to feel special.
Here's another thing. For if you accuse me, Creaky, anyone in a comment of listening to the mainstream media and that's what forms our opinions, you're a dumbass.
Yeah, exactly.
I do not consume mainstream media because I'm not a 55-year-old woman, right? I've never watched ITV News, BBC News, because it's 2025. Nobody does. So you think we're getting our information from these mainstream propagandists? You're the ones doing that when you're watching Fox News and BBC and GB News.
Exactly. All the information I use in my videos comes from verifiable scientific sources. I don't just, well, I do Google things, obviously, but then I need to have that answer verified because I don't know if Google's 100% right 100% of the time. It probably isn't. So if I didn't verify the things I talked about in my videos, I would be just as bad as the people I make videos about.
Also, you would be called out for it immediately.
Yeah, exactly.
If you were, like you said earlier, you make mistakes. Sometimes you misspeak. It happens, right? Sometimes flat earthers are accidentally correct. Weirder things have happened. What was the point I was making? I've done a U there. I've completely lost my train of thought because something just caught my eye.
Well, while you remember, $2 super chat from Wyatt Earp, Creaky for president, yeehaw. And how are you, pal? And Delboy, even if the Earth was 6,000 years old lad, we would be moving at 1.8 trillion. I'm going to have to make a big screen and start again. Delboy, even if the Earth was 6,000 years old, we would be moving at 1.89 trillion miles per hour, or 6,000 times the speed of light by now. Did you do that calculation, Bri? It wouldn't surprise me. You like Rain Man. But anyway, on that note,